What's up, everybody, and welcome in to the College Basketball Countdown. I'm your host, Jeff Nadeau. We are here on Pub Sports Radio. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure if you're watching live, you hit that like button. We do appreciate it. New time, and it's just for today. Let me tell you about my morning, and this is why I hate snow. So I usually go get a haircut on Friday. Day was all screwed up yesterday. Snowed here. So I couldn't go. Rescheduled it this morning. Supposed to get in the chair at 9 o'clock. I didn't get in the chair until like 10:20. And here I am. So I had to push these things back a little bit. It is what it is. Thank you for them at Pub Sports Radio for accommodating me. I hope you had a great night. I hope you had a great morning so far. We got a lot of basketball. 120 plus games here. Might be more, like 140, whatever it is. Got a lot of them. We're going to break them down. If you're in the chat, say hello. Feel free to drop whatever you are looking at. If you have any questions, feel free. We do appreciate it. Bill, Justin, Klaus, James, Woo, Rizza, Joey, Julian, Matthew, Big T, King Ooh, what's good? Cash Action Bets, what up? Coin, what's going on? What up, everybody? Thank you for watching. Victor A, what's going on? You see the rundown there, and then we'll get into just some of your questions. I'll just try to do my Rain Man, if you will, and break down whatever you have your eye on today. Someone says, what's up, Nate? Nothing, brother. Big T, 563. Nothing, really. Just getting ready for another day. It's sunny, at least, which we can take. We'll take that. Woo Rizza says, do you have a black barber? Nah, Puerto Rican. I live in a pretty Puerto Rican area, so I pretty much a lot of Puerto Rican barbers around here. But I've had the same barber since I was a kid. So, but yeah, I mean it's it's a minority barbershop. I mean, I'm the only white guy in there. Let's just say that. But I don't have a black barber. I have a Spanish barber. Why could you tell? Victor A says, I really like Tennessee today. Also think Mizzou covers at home. All right, well, we'll get into the Tennessee game as you see on the rundown. Taryn Long says, NATO is as sharp as they come. Any thoughts on Charleston at UNCW? Well, that's a good game in the CAA. Make sure you ask that in the question section, and I'll get to it. Any soccer plays? You're way behind, my man. You're way behind. I'm already knee deep in soccer. I already have a winner today, and I have one in play right now. So yeah, okay. Let's get into it. Let's first start with some SEC basketball, and everybody's favorite irritating, annoying team, Arkansas, is back. Now, I will tell you this. I love Arkansas. I really like this team. They're deep as they come. However, when you are deep and you run 9 or 10 guys, sometimes you have issues with naming a starting lineup, and that pertains to issues when you struggle because you don't know who to go to when the going gets tough. I had Arkansas the other night. They got the job done. It wasn't easy. Luckily, they got a great performance from Tremont Mark, and they were able to get the job done. But Wade Taylor tried to keep him in it, Texas A&M. And here's the thing, guys. And there's one thing today that they'll get some respite from, but it's still going to be difficult. You can stay in the game if you can rebound the basketball against Arkansas. You look at this game, another tough opponent here in South Carolina. South Carolina is going to rebound the ball at a really high level. And Arkansas struggles on the glass. Trevon Brazile, not exactly a elite rim protector a lot of the time. Look, good rim protector from a defensive standpoint, but he struggles at time on the glass. And I saw that kind of in retrospect the other night. I look at South Carolina, though, a little bit as a bit of a paper tiger, right? What has this team actually done this year? When you look at this group, are you impressed by really anything they've done? I mean, I guess I kind of respect the fact that they beat Mississippi State, but it was at home. They only did it by a couple of points. They haven't been very impressive to me. I look at the schedule and I think, well, you're 14-3, but who did you really beat to get there? And that's why when you look at in conference, they got blown out at Alabama. Okay, they lost last time out against Georgia, and they have a 2-point road win at Mizzou in overtime. Now you got to go on the road and face another tough opponent here I think we finally got Arkansas at Arkansas, like the level that they're, kind of figuring it out, right? They got the great performance out of Mark, but everyone else kind of performed as well. You started to get a performance out of L. Ellis. Merrifield played better. Brazil's playing well. They lost Devontae Davis. He got kicked out of the game. He's a great defender. I think at home, you finally got that Arkansas crowd. I don't want to go much higher than this, and I don't and can't believe I'm going back to the well again with a small play on Arkansas, but I'm going to do it here. I just don't trust South Carolina. I think in this type of game, they're going to struggle. They're not a real good offensive team as it is. This team has really struggled in conference. And when you look at Arkansas, they live at the line, they extend the game, and they can also extend the ability of them to grow a lead. So I will say, I think probably another good play here is the under. I think both these teams kind of struggle in the half court. I mean, neither of them are particularly good shot makers. I think they're both going to be forced into jump shots here. But I'm going to trust Arkansas that they can get the job done here. I'm not going crazy on this game. It's a smaller play for me, but it's a game that I really wanted to highlight because it's an interesting one early on. I think Arkansas has the best home court advantage in the country, and I think today they get another good crowd at Bud Walton on a Saturday against a team in South Carolina that I just don't respect very much. All right. Nutflush Allen, how are you? Thank you for watching. Julian Cesario, thank you for watching. Raymond Reichart, Sam Colmer, Jake Burns. What's going on? Christopher Comatini, thanks for checking out the show. Brandon Cavanaugh. I don't have any thoughts on that one, no. BT says, anyone looking at SMU Tulsa over? Well, I wouldn't be so fast to jump on that one, my man. SMU's got an elite defense. I'm talking about top 10 in the country. But feel free to ask that during the Q&A. Maybe we'll get to it. Steve G says, shout out the Razorbacks and Bill Clinton. Yes, shout out to good old Bill. By the way, a lot of people don't know this. In my country, in Albania, Bill Clinton is a hero. A lot of people don't know that. He's been very good to my people over the years. Obviously, likes to fuck. We know that. But he also is a diplomat at certain levels. That said, he did ruin this country when it comes to criminal policy. But in Albania, he's a hero. Brendan Cavanaugh says, I'm coming to Lancaster Friday. What is the best spot to have dinner? Lombardo's. Make sure you make a reservation. All right. Canes Nation, what's going on? All right. San Diego State, Boise. Guys, San Diego State, Boise. Let me explain something to all of you. 6 straight games has seen this game go under 130. We're getting 137.5. I'm going to trust this is your old school Mountain West rock fight. Walking the ball up the court, great defense, every possession matters. This game's a flip. You and I both know it. That said, Boise State coming off a loss, a low-scoring loss, and look at Boise State's games. Every game is low scoring. And look at what they did to Colorado State. Held that group to 58 points. One of the best offenses in the country was held at 58 points. You look at the guy that San Diego State has in Jalen Ledee, best player in the court. But I like Omar Stanley against him in this game. I think he can neutralize the big guy a little bit. And if you can force San Diego State into jump shots, it's going to be a long day for that offense. This is not as good a team as last year's team, but I will say when the rubber meets the road with these two groups, they're really good defensively. You look at Boise, number 1 in the conference in defense, San Diego State, number 2. And I think for me, if I'm these teams, I'm forcing the opponent into jump shots, 3-point shots, long twos, that sort of thing. And again, you look at the tempo in this game, it's not exactly going to be there. Boise is very slow. And San Diego State, not fast either. I think this one really mauls to a crawl. You look at the last several games in this series. I'm not even talking about, kind of low scoring. They've been really low scoring. Let me go through the last 5 games between these two. 66-60, 72-52, 53-52, 58-57, 42-37. 42-37 in a 40-minute basketball game. 42-37. That game was when was that? That was January 22nd, 2022. That's a rough game, and they didn't even get to 90 in that game. Think about that. 42-37. That's 80 points. That's around 80 points. That's crazy. In a Division I basketball game. Now, again, that doesn't mean a lot here, but this is what this game is. Low scoring. 137.5 is too hot. It just is. It just is. I'm not worried about last-minute free throws not flush out, and I'll tell you why. I think this game's close, but I think it's kind of on the seesaw. And look, I can't navigate overtime. It is what it is. But I don't think this game's going to be a game where we're going to see all the foul game at the end. I just don't. Do I live in Lancaster? I used to live in New York. Yes, I do. I live in Lancaster. Yep. So I'm going to rock with the under in this one and do what makes sense because historically this has been a good one. Jake Burns says, does Marquette have any injuries? Not that I know of. A couple of issues with St. John's, though. They have some issues with sicknesses there, I believe. So that's something I would keep an eye on. Cash Action Bet says Boise money line. Yeah, I don't hate it. I think if I had to lean aside here, I would lean the home team always. It's a good atmosphere up in Boise. It's a good atmosphere up there. All right. North Texas, Charlotte. Going back to the same thing here. Under 120.5. These two groups, very slow. Two of the slowest teams in the country. You look at North Texas, okay, right now, this is the slowest team in America. Nobody plays slower. 362 in possession length. I mean, they're just ungodly slow. Charlotte, 351 in tempo. You're just not going to have any pace in this game. Throw in the fact that these are two great defenses as well. I mean, for Charlotte, who is a team out of the American Athletic Conference, used to be in Conference USA, this is one of the better mid-major defenses you'll find. Very good defensively. Very good. And you look at North Texas, it really doesn't matter who the coach is. This is a top 25 defense every season. What do? They pack you in and make you shoot shots you don't want to take. That's just how it's going to be. That's how it's always going to be when these two teams play. You look at this game last season, 55-49. Do I think it'll be that low scoring? Probably not. But do I see them getting to 120? Nope. This one's been bet up a little bit, but it's a really low total. I could see North Texas maybe getting to 60, but I don't see Charlotte getting to 60. Again, I'm going to trust what I know. I'm going to trust the systems. One thing you have to realize about Charlotte is a team who their coach, he used to be under he used to be under Ron Sanchez, who was the coach of Charlotte before. Ron Sanchez used to be under Tony Bennett. They've grabbed that pack line defense. Same thing. They want to play the same type of defense. So Charlotte, if you come in and you can't shoot the basketball against them, you're going to struggle. Now, North Texas has been pretty good against the three or shooting the three. That said, I think this game just kind of turns into a grinder, rock fight. Not a game I'm going to want to watch. Under 120.5. I'm on that today. All right. Is Patino back today? As far as I know. Creighton's getting punched in the mouth today. Well, listen, I mean, we've talked about Creighton. I mean, it's not an exact science picking their games. Very difficult. Way more difficult than most. Alabama, Tennessee. This is a big game in the SEC. A lot of people looking forward to this one. Tennessee laying 5.5, total 158. Obviously, Dalton Connect has been on fire recently. He has completely dominated games, got 2 30-plus point games over the last couple. I mean, who's the best scorer in the SEC? Is it Wade Taylor? Is it Dalton Connect? Is it Tremont Mark? And this group, look at all the kids at Kentucky. This is a great offensive conference. We don't give it enough credit for how good it is. Question always is going to be for Alabama is, can they get any stops? Because we've seen their defense get mauled many different times, particularly on the road. And this is a Tennessee team that is on fire offensively right now, on fire. This is dangerous if you're an opponent in the SEC of Tennessee. And nationally, I'm going to keep saying it, this is a team you need to buy into, Tennessee, because I have not seen an offense this good at Tennessee in a really long time. That's always the issue with Rick Barnes' teams. They're not good enough defensively. You know they bring it defensively, but are they good enough offensively? They're playing with a lot of pace, and it's a dangerous thought to see Tennessee number 2 in the country in defensive efficiency and number 21 in offensive efficiency. You look at last year, 64th in offensive efficiency. They're significantly better this season. And how are they doing it? Offensive rebounds, high-quality shot makers, forcing turnovers, making free throws, not turning the ball over. This group has scored, 87, 90, 72, 85, 88 over the last couple of games. They had the one bad performance at Mississippi State, kind of a spot play there. I have Mississippi State in that game. It was, I want to say it was a Friday night or Thursday night. With Alabama, they have their own success offensively. The problem is Mark Sears healthy? He went out of the game early the other night. Is he good to go today? Because without him, well, now there's a lot more of credence on Aaron Estrada, and it doesn't help your, situation. Throw in Muhammad Wagoo's possibly out as well. What do we know about Alabama? They're very three-point dependent, very similar to Creighton. And that's what makes betting on them difficult. That's what makes betting totals difficult. My thought is Tennessee kind of does what they do here. Alabama on the road, we generally will believe they're not going to shoot at a really high level. Something tells me if you like Tennessee, I think you bet the under. If you like Alabama, I think you bet the over. I think Tennessee kind of does what they do here at home. It just kind of bogs down Alabama. I don't know if you're going to get a fully healthy Mark Sears, which, again, that really hurts the lineup if you're Nate Oates. And what do we know about Nate Oates? He doesn't switch up anything. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. He just keeps going with it. He's still going to shoot threes. That said, they've made threes this year. This is an interesting game, very tough game. But I think this is a real good barometer game when we realize that Tennessee is really good. Jake Burns says, I'm all over Tennessee. Tennessee's a bet on until they get to the postseason and Barnes shows. Yeah, but listen, I get it. We always know that some folks aren't going to be able to live down their reputations, but at least Barnes wins a lot of the time and goes decently far. There are coaches that never win yet continue to have jobs. But I don't know that I agree wholeheartedly with this team this year. I think this is a really good team. Now, look, I think we kind of don't realize how difficult it is to win or get to the Final Four, and get past that and win a national title. It's supremely difficult. You look at Rick Barnes. Yeah, he only has one Final Four in his career. That's definitely an issue. But you look at Fran McCaffrey. Fran McCaffrey's been a coach 40 years, and he's never gotten past the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. So, all right, let's go through one other game. West Coast, very low-level game. However, I just wanted to identify a team to you that is very good against the spread. One of the best teams in America that you probably don't know about against the spread is Cal Northridge. This is one of the best teams against the spread out there. I believe they are 13-4 against the spread. Pretty unbelievable. Lost a couple of games recently, and yes, they're going on the road again, but they're playing a team at Riverside who is not good. This is a bad Riverside team. Bad Riverside team. You look at the one thing Northridge does well, it's get to the basket, get to the hoop. This is a really good offensive team at times. And against the spread, they've been money. They're getting 3 today, kind of off the beaten path, but it's something that I just wanted to point out. I like this Northridge team. I think they're well coached under Andy Newman. They have lost 2 or 3, but it was to 2 good teams in this conference in Davis and Santa Barbara. They beat Fullerton. They beat Hawaii. They beat Long Beach. They beat Cal Poly. What they generally do, this team, is they beat the bad teams and they lose to the good teams. But I like Northridge. I think this is a good spot. I don't think they should be an underdog. Listen, the truth of the matter is, I mean, Cal Northridge, UC Riverside, these aren't teams that should be laying numbers at home. There's just not a home court advantage. You look at this arena. It's one of the smallest in America. According to KenPom, this is the 356th best home court in the country. So what does that mean? There are only 362 teams. This is the 6th worst home court advantage. They should not be getting 3 points. They shouldn't. Or not getting 3 points, giving 3 points. It just shouldn't happen. This game should be a pick 'em. I'll gladly be on Northridge here. They're great on the road. They're great against the spread. And I think they're a better team. Good point, Billy Friedrich. There it is. 13-3. My apologies. One of the best in America. So I'm on Northridge today. And listen, I mean, the Big West is a conference that is all mostly, California teams. So the travel's not real bad. I mean, Northridge to Riverside, it's about an hour and a half. Not bad. I mean, these teams have been doing this a long time. So I'm not real worried about it. We go off the beaten path on this show occasionally. I'll gladly take 3 with a team that I surely think probably wins this game. So I'm going to grab the 3 today with Northridge. So in recap, small play, I like Arkansas a little bit. San Diego State, Boise under. North Texas, Charlotte under. Tennessee minus the points, and Northridge +3. I like that. My 3 favorite, the 2 unders and Northridge. I wouldn't hate like an Arkansas, Tennessee moneyline par. I think that could be a plus money opportunity for yourself. So yeah. All right. Let's go to questions. Rapid fire. Throw your questions in now. If you can, include the line. That's important. There are a lot of games here. Nutflush Allen says, I disagree, Jeff. Last time I went, they had a big crowd presence, and the entire UC Riverside men's water polo team was under the basket. Really? Is that true? That's not a joke, he says. Sounds repulsive, but maybe it's better than we think. Who knows? All right. Did I see that Alcorn State is playing their first home game against a D1 team today? No, it's not something that crossed my desk so far. No. But yes, they are at home today. First time. That's amazing. You know, that's really wild that it's January 20th and this is the first home game for a team in college basketball. That is something. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind in this game, guys, is the SWAC is a team that, or a conference that you can't really look at what the numbers tell you thus far because all these teams have played really tough schedules. That said, coming home to play your first game, it's not exactly the team you want to play. Texas Southern, very good. Always a good team in this conference. Great defensively. So keep that in mind, but not a game I'll be running to bet. Cheshire Cat says, that shit is so stupid. He got busted for dealing coke right after that video. That was ripe stupidity. What the hell are you talking about? Does anyone know what this guy's talking about? What the hell are you talking about, brother? We're talking about basketball. What the hell is this guy talking about? But buddy, I don't know what you're talking about. I think you're in the wrong chat. Does anybody know this dude? What is he on about? I don't know what he's even talking about. All right, let me look at some comments and let's start to talk about some games here. Okay, Baylor, Texas. Teron Long wants to talk about. Listen, you miss school, you miss out, as they say. If you like Texas and you're betting it now, you should probably relook at how you're betting on sports. Texas was a money line favorite, about 120 last night. They're now 3-point favorites. Okay, so you're betting the worst price. I think Texas bounced back here. I really do. Home court advantage is so big in the Big 12. I also think that defensively, Texas will bother Baylor a bit. As long as Baylor doesn't go off from three, which I guess that's possible always. I'm a big Baylor guy. I like this team a lot, but you're not going to go every game on the road and win. And I think Texas is desperate right now. I really do. I think they look really embarrassing the last couple of nights. Do I think Baylor lose two in a row? It's not going to be easy, but it's not the first time they've lost two in a row this year. This is a gauntlet schedule. We all know that. But to me, this is a Texas defense that I think whips back into shape quick. And we know Baylor's defense is not good. So I think they match up pretty well here. Look, am I telling you to take Texas at 3? No. I bet this at a significantly better number. Just pointing that out. Penn State plus 9.5 against Ohio State. Penn State already beat them by 3 this year. But it's hard to beat a team twice. And this is, if you're Penn State, your prototypical letdown game. They just won against Wisconsin, a top 15 team. Now you got to go on the road and take on an Ohio State team that has lost 3 in a row. Something tells me this is a blowout spot. We don't want to buy into Ohio State, but I think when you look at Ohio State, again, another gauntlet. This is a tough conference, man. I mean, they lose to Wisconsin. They lost at Michigan, which that was just a good spot for Michigan. But a lot of time off. Again, letdown game for Penn State. I would lean Ohio State here personally. Not a game I'll be betting. Justin McElvey says, Gus Edwards anytime touchdown tonight. Well, good luck, man. Good luck to you. I'll talk about the NFL in a bit. Did I look at the San Francisco St. Mary's game? A little. I like San Francisco. They have been burying teams in that conference. That's essentially a flip of a game. Kind of a geographical battle there, San Francisco area battle. That game is in San Fran, I believe. Yeah, it is. Always going to lead home team there, but St. Mary's a really tough prep for Chris Gerflison. That's a team that's been winning a lot of games. They've been rolling recently, but have always had trouble with St. Mary's. Got swept by him last year. And I don't want to bet into St. Mary's. They just are always really tough to prep for. Randy Bennett is an elite coach. The way they play is very difficult to deal with. I guess I'll expect San Francisco to show it because when you look at this team, haven't beaten anybody. Let me just explain this, guys. Since December 16th, when they lost to Utah State, the best team that San Francisco has beaten is Fresno, the 210th ranked team in America. Oh, wait, they beat Loyola last time out. But that's not much either. You're going to learn a lot about San Francisco over the next 2 games. They got St. Mary's, and then they go to Gonzaga. So we're going to find out if this team is a candidate, an upstart candidate today and next week. All right. Do I have any thoughts on UMass? Nah, I get nothing on that one. Middling A-10 game, no interest. Cincinnati, Oklahoma. Yeah, this is a game where you have 2 teams that have really surprised. I think we kind of thought Oklahoma would be good. They have lost 2 of 3. Only win was against lowly West Virginia, the worst team in this conference. And Cincinnati is surprised. This is what makes the Big 12 the best conference in America because you have teams like Cincinnati that are dogged defensively. They're a complete bear on the glass. This is going to be a great game. I had trouble with it. I think these are 2 teams that are really, really similar. I would lean Oklahoma. I don't want to run to bet road teams, but something tells me Oklahoma is worth a look here. Better from the free throw line. I love Porter Moser. I think they're a deep team. They're a solid team. Cincinnati's good, but are they ready to really compete night after night in this conference? And Cincinnati, we have seen them kind of lose these type of games a lot of the time. Lost the game against Xavier, they probably should have won. Lost last second games against Baylor and Texas. Probably could have lost the other night. Keep in mind, that was a great spot for them at home. Are they going to do that 2 times in a row? I'm going to get Okie as a dog here. I'd probably lean that way in a flip. Do I have any thoughts on Valpo, UIC? No, not really. Listen, I'll continue to say it. I used to bet a lot of mid-major games, but I have no interest in betting a 5-13 team versus an 8-10 team, especially an 8-10 team that's lost 6 of the last 7. Both these teams are struggling. They're spiraling out of control. With 140 games on the card, it's not a game I'm looking at. I'm headed to the over on Cincinnati, Oklahoma. Yeah, I mean, it's not where I would completely look right at, but I would look more at the side there. But hey, Nutflush, you're a great handicapper, so I trust what you think. 2 games I played, I like Nova +4. You got a great number there. That's down to 2. I also like Cal against Washington State. Listen, I'm never going to bet Cal. I just don't think they're very good. And I'm a big Wazoo guy. I really like Kyle Smith. Nova UConn is really intriguing because that's your, again, number 1 team in the country going on the road. Now, I want to preface this. Not a true home game for Villanova. This is more of a neutral site game. Wells Fargo Center is very far from Villanova. It's 20 minutes to a half hour away from campus. Villanova's over on the main line. You got to get on a highway, go down to South Philly. This is not a home game for Villanova. That's kind of an issue. My issue with UConn and fading them right now is hard because UConn has been money from 3 recently, and they look to be as good as advertised. And that's your problem. I don't want to fade UConn right now. That said, Drew, you got a great price. If I got 4, I would be interested. Villanova's lost 2 or 3. However, Justin Moore's back. Played 30 minutes the other night, which is good. I'm just going to say it. Something tells me UConn loses here. But I'm like even on betting on or against UConn this year. I had Kansas against UConn. I won that. I want to say I lost another game betting against UConn. So, yeah, I'm not betting it. If I could get 4 like you did, I would be in. That screams UConn losing. It just screams. And remember, Villanova, if the game's close late, they are money from the free throw line. That is something that I respect a whole lot about Kyle Neptune, Jay Wright. They always have elite free throw shooting teams. You look at this team, 82% from the free throw line. Great defensive rebounding team. They shut possessions down, and they have been pretty solid defensively so far in conference. So, Drew, I give you a lot of credit. You got a great price there. Now you just have to win. Guys, again, if you're going to throw games out, please include the opponent. I don't have time to look through every opponent here. UGA, looks like a UGA fan here. My opinion on Kentucky, Georgia today. Listen, I will say I felt like going into the season, Georgia was an improved team, and they have been. I mean, I have to give this team a lot of credit. They have looked really good to open the season. Their only loss is a 6-point high-scoring loss at home to Tennessee. I mean, nothing to write be mad about there. Now you're getting in arguably the best offensive team in America to you got to go to Lexington. I leaned over here. Both these teams, I think, score efficiently. I think if there's one knock on Kentucky, it's defensively. I think this is a high-scoring game. Kentucky will get theirs. That's what they do. And I look at Georgia. They have been really good shooting the basketball, been really good at getting to the line. I'll tell you what, and I'm just going to say this. They check a lot of boxes if you're looking to bet an underdog, a double-digit underdog at that. What do we want if we're going to back an underdog? Let me give you 3 reasons why and how you back an underdog. Can they make free throws? In this case, yes, Georgia does. Do they make threes? In this case, yes, Georgia does. Do they turn the ball over? Not really, which Georgia does. If you get those 3 check marks and you have an underdog, that's a worthy look at backing them. If you can just make threes and hang out at the free throw line, you can hang in games. I know it's hard to bet against Kentucky right now. However, this team defensively has issues. What do we see with this group? A lot of 87-85, 90-77, 90-77, 97-92. high-scoring, frantic basketball. I don't mind Georgia's in that spot because I think they have good guard play, and they've been able to hang in games. So I think Georgia could be worth a little look there. A lot of comments, guys. I really appreciate all of you guys. I really love all the comments. It's great. All right. And guys, please do me a favor. I'm not going to say that I don't appreciate you guys talking back and forth, but particularly you, Cheshire Cat, he's just talking with people here. It's super hard to understand. I guess he's talking UFC. I don't know. I'm super confused. Let me go back to the starred comments. Jose, you're helping me with that. Thank you for that. Someone asked about Purdue and Iowa. I'll just come out and say it. So this number opened 167.5. It was bet up to 168, 168.5, and then 169. That was the first money we see come in on this game. It's now down to 165. Sharp money is on the over, which you don't see much. When you see a total this high, I'm going to just come out and point it out. I bet the over. I have 168.5. It's lowered. At 165, I think it's a great play. I think Purdue gets 90s, and I think Iowa can probably get to 80. I think these numbers, when we've seen them real high, they generally went over. Pace is going to be great this game. Purdue's going to get whatever they want offensively. That said, Iowa, we know they're not good defensively, but they're always very good on the offensive end. Look at Iowa's games this year, guys, and tell me you want to bet the under. Every game they play, 94-76, 103-74, 86-77. I mean, a lot of high-scoring games. Pace will be there. This is going to be a fun game. Edey should have a big night. It's going to be a fun game. I'm going to root that it's back and forth. I see a bunch of buckets in this game. All right. TCU, Iowa State. I think it's ugly. I think it's an ugly game. I think it's a game where we see two teams who are really good on defense. Iowa State's very good on defense. That's an ugly Big 12 matchup today. First to 70 wins. I don't even know if we get there. I think as long as you avoid overtime there, under looks pretty good. Thoughts on Ole Miss, Auburn, minus 12.5. Yeah, I think the thought is people don't buy into Ole Miss. They think they're, again, a paper tiger, kind of like South Carolina. And listen, I don't think you shouldn't think that. That said, I think it's crazy to give Chris Beard 12 points. I really do. Chris Beard is Chris Beard at the end of the day. And when you look at Ole Miss, I think defensively the worry here is that Auburn goes crazy from three. Mississippi's defense is really bad. And why is that? Because they pack everything in. You're going to get a lot of open jump shots against them. That's the problem. I don't know. It's tempting. Maybe a live bet. It's crazy to give Beard that many points, but like I've said, I think when you look at Ole Miss, they started the season out 13-0. They then get blown out at Tennessee. They beat Florida, good win. Beat Vandy, who cares? And then lose at LSU, another road game here. You look at on the road, they've given up 90 and 89. Not great. Now you're going to play Auburn. Congrats. Here's what I would do. Instead of taking 12.5, just bet the over. Because Auburn's going to score. You just got to hope Ole Miss scores. And if you want them to cover 12.5, they're going to have to score. So, over. I hate drinking coffee and doing a show because I forget that it's here and it's just in my hand and it gets cold. All right, Miami opened up 1.5 and it's up to 3.5 at Syracuse. Yeah, I was leaning Syracuse there, but I also leaned over as well. I think that's a frantic back and forth game. We know Miami likes to go up and down. They don't play much in the way of defense. And Hughes, I think, is starting to figure it out offensively. A lot of issues there. Obviously, you have a first-year coach in Adrian Autry, a couple of new guys. But I think the strength of them is, again, tempo. Judah Mintz, J.J. Starling, Chris Bell, Justin Taylor. They've kind of been a weird team, right? Because, some games are 69-58, and then they'll have a game that's 103-67, 86-66. What are we seeing, though? They struggle against good offenses defensively. I think that's up and down. All right, let me go back to the chat here. AYOD says, Pub Sports Forever. What up, Pay? Or Ayo, I'm sorry, not Pay. Ayo, what's going on? Thank you for watching, my man. King Moo says, really appreciate your insight, Jeff. You do a great job no matter what you give. Winners for free. Most people charge for this kind of knowledge. Thanks for the hit. Thanks, hit the like button. Yes, please do. Yeah, we're here every week. Usually at 10:30, we had to push it back to 11, but it seems like we have a nice little chat here today. As long as we have a couple of folks in here, that's all we are looking for. All right. Listen, Cheshire, we're not talking MMA here. There's a couple of great shows on this channel that talk about that. I would maybe check back. Maybe check on those shows. All right. What am I thinking on UNC against Va Tech, New Mexico State against Middle Tennessee? I lean New Mexico State for sure. As far as Carolina land 6.5, I mean, you're definitely paying a premium to bet Carolina. Now you're betting them as a road favorite. So you're laying 7, essentially. So 3 possessions on the road. That said, I mean, BC's not terrible. BC's actually all right on offense. I don't know. You're paying a premium to bet UNC. That said, am I looking to bet into them? Not really. The key when you play UNC is, can you rebound the basketball? If you can rebound the basketball, you can hang in games against them. The problem that BC has is they cannot. BC is not a good rebounding team. There's a couple of things they do well. Rebounding ain't one of them. In fact, this is a pretty heinous rebounding team. That's concerning to me. Someone says Beard is legit everywhere he goes. He definitely is, but his teams have gotten destroyed defensively. So MMA Locker says, I hit Jeff with all Mafia comments. He read none. I didn't. Feel free to. This is my first time seeing you here. I haven't seen you in here today. Hustle Man says, Citadel VMI, what are your thoughts? Well, listen, VMI is, I've said before, the worst defensive team in America, or one of the worst. This is just a heinous defensive team. Keep in mind, they've given up 100 or more in 3 straight games. Let me say that again. They've given up 100 or more in 3 straight games. This is an awful defensive team. That said, they played 3 pretty good teams in this conference. The Citadel is the complete opposite of VMI. Citadel play very slow. They're very deliberate. Listen, if this was the old Citadel team, this would be first to 110 wins, but it's not. That said, I don't think Citadel gets to 100 today, but I don't know. I mean, what gives? I can't bet on VMI, so I would lean Citadel. It's a shame these 2 teams aren't the old groups. Like back in the day, these 2 teams would play, Citadel VMI, and it would be literally 115 to 109. Like that was on the regular. The Citadel doesn't have that coach anymore. Any thoughts on Wake? Nah, I'm not laying 16. Louisville's hung around. They hung around, I believe, the other night against Carolina, getting a big number. That's not anything I'm willing to bet into right now. Do I have any thoughts on the Jayhawks? That's an interesting game. All right. So Jayhawks are going to Morgantown to play West Virginia, who is surely the worst team in the Big 12. That number opened 11.5. It's down to 9.5. Someone smart or sharp or has a lot of money likes Westphal there. I don't know if I understand it or see it. I thought that number would be like 12.5, 13. But it's went the other way. If I can get 10.5, I might have a little play on Westphal there. One of the little like 75, 66 type of games where it's just kind of going through the motions if you're Kansas. Again, it's not easy to cover on the road. And that is a tough place to go in this conference. It is way farther away than everywhere else. You look at the Big 12. Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, Midwest. There are 2 tough places to go now in the Big 12. UCF and, 3. UCF, BYU, and Westphal. Think if you're Westphal, you got to go play BYU at some point. Not great. But Westfall's tough because it's near Charleston, but it's not in Charleston. It's in Morgantown. It's a little airport. It's a messy game. It's a messy game. And Kansas is back Monday. They got a quick turnaround with Cincinnati coming in. I'm just going to say it. Something tells me that's a weird game there. It should be 92-70, but something tells me West Virginia is going to throw something out at Kansas there. You're always going to get a good game, in this conference. That's going to be rocking Morgantown today. They love their basketball down there. Not a lot else going on. A weird state. I was in West Virginia once for Rough and Rowdy. Very odd place. I'm not kidding. Very odd. Like one of the weirdest places I've ever been. Like it's just weird. I don't even know if I can describe it. It was just an odd. It's like it's the 70s there still. Like it's just a weird place. I don't know. Like the coolest place in town is like a gas station. It's like it's weird. It's a weird place. You go to the gas station. It's like there's all these people there. They got, it's bizarre. Very bizarre place. Matthew Swanson says, "I'll be in attendance today. Go Mountaineers." Well, good luck, man. Have fun. It is a beautiful place, though. That's one thing about West Virginia that I remember. All right. Okay, let me go into some NFL here. We've talked about a lot of games here. Went all over the map. It just feels like it's in the 70s there. That said, though, and I'll just point this out. I remember when I went to San Antonio. I went to see Jeff Slaughter down at Pub Sports Radio. This was before he had Pub Sports Radio. This is back in like 2018. We flew into Austin and drove from Austin to San Antonio. I'll tell you what, between Austin and San Antonio, weird place. It is, there's nothing there. Okay, their gas stations look like fucking airports. Like they're like 60 gas pumps at these places. There's one place I saw. I forget what it's called. Some sort of gas station. There's like literally 75 gas pumps. That's like, Jesus Christ. It's crazy.
Buc-ee's. Yeah, it's legit. It's the place to go, Jeff.
Yeah, it looks like the place to be on a Friday night, but
yeah, let me tell you, the parties there on a Friday night, they go up. But yeah, no, it's a great place. Shout out to Buc-ee's.
Yeah, it was it's a cool, it's definitely a different type of living for sure. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what, I'm sure those places inside are like gold mines. There's like you can get anything there. But yeah, definitely a different world. Yeah, I'm not telling you that I don't live. I mean, I don't exactly live in New York City, but like where I live and like the city I live in is a far cry from like the way outskirts. Like you go 20 miles that way, Amish. But you see Amish mixed in with like regular people. And they kind of have their own like establishments. A little different here, but that's out in the middle of nowhere. All right, NFL. Let me start with today's games. Look, guys, listen. As the NFL card gets shorter and shorter, the games are tougher and tougher. Here's my thing. I like Houston. I really do. I'm not going to tell you I don't. I'm a big Stroud fan. I really like Tank Dell. I like their offense. I'm a big fan of their coach. That said, this is a whole lot different from being home in a dome and getting your first playoff win in a long time to going on the road to really cold Baltimore. It's windy. And I'm telling you guys, it's cold out. I mean, it's barely 20 degrees around here. I don't live far from Baltimore. I'm about an hour away. It's cold. It's going to be nighttime. It's not going to be as cold as last week with like Kansas City, but it's going to be cold. Whipping wind. How does CJ Stroud deal with that? I think he struggles. We know Baltimore beat them up the first time they played. That was a much different Houston team. But Baltimore's really good, man. Really good. And I don't love Houston's pass defense. I think you can kind of find some outlets there. Something tells me as long as it stays under 10, I'm in on Baltimore. I mean, this game could be, close. It could be 31-24 late, and Baltimore gets a late touchdown and wins 38-24. I think that's more of what we see here as opposed to a close game. And if you like Baltimore, you're getting a good price here. You were never going to get 7 in this game. You were never going to get 6.5. But if you like Houston, what's the benefit of betting this game? Do you think it's really – this game's either going to be a double-digit victory for Baltimore or they're going to lose. I don't think it's within 7 or anything. So I don't really think you're getting a great price with Houston here. If you could have got 10.5, okay, maybe. But this number's dropped from 45.5 to 43.5 due to the fact that it's going to get windy. You got blowing snow. This is just a tough thing to do. And there's nothing – look, if Houston loses this game, nobody's going to be like, oh, my God, they lost. Nobody expected Houston to be here. But I think that works, like when you're at home and you're playing like a wild card team and you're in a dome. A lot different here. A lot different here. Let's just be honest. CJ Stroud hasn't done this ever. I'll tell you this: if Stroud goes on the road and wins this game, I won't say nothing else. That would be impressive. Could you imagine if he goes on the road and wins this game, beats Big Bad Baltimore, everybody's favorite team in Baltimore? Here's what I would do. If you like Houston, you bet the money line. That's what I would do. That's just the person that's bet since he was 8 years old, what he would do. Because I've seen these things before. You either got to go all in or you got to assume this is, 34-20 or something. That's how I think it is. I think Houston just kind of gets run out in this game. But if you're a Houston fan, you got a lot to look forward to with this team. They're going to get stronger and stronger, and they got a great coach down there as well. All right, let's go to the other game. And let me know what you guys like in these NFL games. Real Deal Prime says Sean Strickland is going to flash back during the fight. I don't like his chances. Yeah, I think he's going to get fucked up tonight. I hope he does. He's a scumbag. Sean, listen, say what you want about Sean Strickland. He's a scumbag. Let's just be real. And I don't care about his political shit. That's not why I don't like him. He has a very questionable past on some of the things he was all about. That's all I'm going to say. But I think Duplessis beats him up. I really do. That said, I'm not an MMA pro by any means. I do decent with the MMA, though, betting it on my own. Okay, Green Bay, San Francisco. Another game where you got to give a lot of credit to Jordan Love, right? The young quarterback. Jordan Love's been really good, man. Really good. I mean, I'm talking about like really good. I don't think we look enough at how good he's been. You might not have Jair Alexander. That sucks. You obviously want your full complement of players against a team like San Francisco. They've just been kind of wait in the weeds and ready to go. It's a tough one. This is probably about where I'd have this number. I'm not a big fan of laying double digits in the regular season, let alone in a playoff game. I would lean San Fran here. But out of all 4 games, this is the game that I had mostly no opinion on. I think if you like San Fran, you've got to lean under, where they just kind of shut down Green Bay. And if Jordan Love can't be dynamic, where do you go here? Because I don't think their defense is going to have much success here. Look, San Francisco could throw so much at you. Debo, Christian McCaffrey, Ayuk, Brock Purdy's been great. Defensively, they're the number 1 defense in the league, arguably. I used to give so many things you got to contend with here. You may not have your full complement of defensive players. And Jordan Love, this is where, look, again, Jordan Love, remember, what they did against Dallas was impressive. It really was. But now you got to go and do it again. I don't think their defense is very good. I think both these games could be blowouts. And that's the problem sometimes when you have these teams. And listen, another game where if you're Green Bay, you can't be mad at what happens here. It's not like anyone's going to say, holy shit, they lost. They got a great future as well. Jordan Love, I think they have their new quarterback. But I don't like anything else here. That's concerning. All right. Billy Friedrich says Green Bay defense is a joke. Yeah, they're definitely not good. Baltimore's giving them a blueprint. Giving who a blueprint? All right. By the way, if you're watching right now and you haven't, make sure you subscribe to Pub Sorts Radio. I've known Pub Sports Radio for a long time. I know the owner, Jeff Slaughter, a long time. Great guy, great people. Really have created a bit of a community here, and you've got to respect that. This genre, this sports betting world is a fucking joke. There's a lot of assholes doing this, a lot of jerk-offs that don't know shit about anything. They throw parlays out like it's fucking water. They may hit one once in a while, but they'll tell you to do it. There's a lot of shitheads doing this. Luckily, though, there are communities like this where you have good quality people that know what they're looking at. They can help you kind of grind through things. In a world full of shitheads, there are a couple of good groups still around, and we thank Pub Sports Radio for being one of them. George Wood says, it's been a long time since I've seen you. You look good, great capper. Thank you, George Wood. Yeah, I definitely look a lot different. Okay, let me wrap up 2 games, then we're going to get out of here. The games are about to start. Let me see. Do you have tomorrow? Okay, good. This is the only game I bet. I'll be honest. I like Detroit. I laid the number. Tampa Bay got lucky playing the Eagles first time around. You are not going to have success with the blitz like you did last game. Jared Goff, very good against the blitz. You have a great offensive line. You have a great group of star players for Detroit. Great tight end, great receivers. Amon-Ra St. Brown is terrific. I think their defense is better than we think. I think they have a solid game. Anything under 7, I like Detroit. I think they take that momentum and win another home game. And they go and they play the San Francisco 49ers to go to the Super Bowl. Detroit. I laid it here. The other game, tough game. It is. It's a very tough game. If you can get 3, I lean Chiefs. I don't know if I'll play this one. Buffalo, mass casualty unit on defense. A lot of guys out. Patrick Mahomes, 8-1-1 his career as an underdog. Chiefs aren't an underdog much, but when they are, you have to be interested. Chiefs are a great defense. We don't give Steve Spagnuolo enough credit. They've been elite defensively. And I think they have enough weapons. They don't have many weapons, but they have enough. Run the football with Pacheco. Get the ball to your playmakers. Kelsey, Rashee Rice. Don't be surprised if Kadarius Toney does something well in this game. I think he gets a little retribution on all his haters. If I can get a 3, I want Kansas City. At 2.5, I'm out. All right, guys, I'm out of here. 58 minutes, chock full of information. There's nobody that can do it. It's right off the top of my head. No nonsense, no bullshit, just breaking it down and doing what we do. You all have a great night. Thank you for watching. Make sure you check out Pub Sports Radio all day. MMA, college hoops, NBA, whatever you want. We got it. We got what you fiend for. That's the point. We got what you fiend for here. Sports betting, Pub Sports Radio got you covered. Tony's ruled out. Well, that might help them, man. No offense. I was hoping he might do something good for his team, but he ain't playing, so we don't have to worry about it. I'm out of here. We'll see you guys next week. 10:30 we'll be here. Sorry for 11 today. I had a scheduling issue, but we were here nonetheless. I'll see you all later. Arrivederci.